know who Stephen Boswell is? Well, he owns arguably the fastest 2.7 Ecoboost on Earth. It's a second-gen, single-cab 2.7 Ecoboost with a 10-speed automatic transmission. And he has run a fastest of 11:45 at 118 miles per hour in the quarter mile. And that pass was no modifications in terms of weight, just full weight, blasted down the drag strip, and he went 11:45 at 118. He is on a completely stock motor. It is unopened, untouched. He has stage 4 turbos, E85 tune from ZFG Racing, and it is running around 64 pound per minute, and which is approximately 640 wheel horsepower because of the timing on E85. And he also is running about 32.5 PSI out of those stage 4 turbos into a stock motor. Now, if that ain't risking it for the biscuit, you know, if you ain't bending, you ain't sending. But I tell you what, that is some crazy power. I've talked with him, and we both think that his motor probably is going to go very soon. But the cool thing is that it hasn't yet. But why do I bring this up when it's not my truck in this video? Well, here's why. I think there's something to this. Having a 10-speed transmission means you don't have as much RPM drop between shifts. I was hearing about this on a podcast, and I thought it was very fascinating. The more RPM drop you have between gears, the more stress on the motor. On my 2.7 Snowflake, it's got a 6-speed transmission. So those shifts, there's a lot more drop in the RPM compared to a 10-speed transmission. Because when that motor is at higher RPM, it's just screaming up there way in the high RPMs. It's not coming down in the low RPM, which is where the failure points can really happen. So I'm wondering, I'm very curious to see what his motor would look like if it ever did blow. I'm curious to see one of his rods to see if it's bent. And if it's not, if he has any good rods left, I'm curious to see if it's bent, because the 2.7, my truck, the rods were bent, the good ones. So I think that the low engine speed torque really does a number on those rods. They just can't handle that much torque at that low RPM. The higher RPM, they're doing better. And I'm not totally positive because I did not take a data log, but I think my white truck blew up after it shifted. Not entirely positive, but there's a very high possibility that it did blow up in the lower RPM range. So very fascinating information. I will be looking to see what Steven does in the future, and I might do a little update video. He's about to go back to the track, and they're going to turn it up more, but he's got a 3-liter build coming very soon. He has officially, but unofficially, ran a draggy recently that trapped 122 miles per hour in the quarter on the street, I'm assuming. He is thinking that with a good tune-up and a little bit more boost and a little bit more power and some weight reduction and suspension changes, he can go back to the track and possibly get a 1099 in the quarter mile. So if he does, that will be the world's first 10-second 2.7 Ecoboost, and it will be with a stock motor. But we'll see if that motor stays together. It might blow up, but he's prepared for it. He knows it's going to happen. He doesn't really care because he's building a 3-liter, which is going to be way better. Sorry for having a video that's just a bunch of me talking, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.